you're just not, no one's naturally that bad at anything. I don't believe it. Give me 30 minutes, I'll draw up a better Splice logo. Or camo. Like it, I can't.
I want to look more at it.
The E-United one looks great. The Optic one looks fine. There's a couple carbon copies, Optic being one of them. They just kind of look the same. And there's a few unique ones. I'm Alec Mullins. Online, go by Splash. Occasionally, it is what it is. Right now, I don't have a definitive goal set. I'm just kind of, I'm blindly practicing, just trying to improve what I can by myself until I find something that I want to shoot for. Right now, I'm just having fun making content, and I think that's the important part. I'm really just finding a groove and finding my lane, and then once I get to a safe place with this, where I get to a place where I'm satisfied with the kind of content I'm making, then I'll aspire to go up from there. But for now, I'm just trying to I'm trying to find my happy spot in my content. I'm trying to find a place where I'll be content with what I'm making, and I'm not far away from it right now. I know what I want to do, and I'm just there. I'm on the borderline of making it exactly what I want.
I'm Joker. I'm one of the members of the Espionage project. See, current goals as far as all of this stuff goes, if you look behind me, my clear goal is SOAR Gaming. That's really my main goal with YouTube and streaming as far as that's concerned. As far as real life goes, I'm currently in college just trying to get a degree.
My name's Brian Edwards, also known as Mind Over Brian on Twitter, and Espionage Status through our group. My biggest goal right now is just to get back into creating content consistently and just getting back on the grind again, and I've really accomplished that goal in the last few days. I think like everything's going really well. I have no real complaints. I think I've put out 4 or 5 videos since I came back, and I've streamed 4 or 5 times since I've consistently been back on the grind, and I've been enjoying every minute of it. My last video has been my most successful, as well as I feel like I put the most work into it and I got a lot of payoff. So today when Nick and I went out to go help him fix his computer, I vlogged the entire thing. So that's my next little project that I'm working on. So overall, I think everything's going really well. I'm really excited about my direction as well as everybody else's direction. Like, we tried to go get food the other day and everybody was either recording a video or editing a video one. So we're really rolling, and I'm really happy about it.
My name's Charlie. Online you'll see me as Avarius. So my goals are probably going to be a little different than the rest of the guys. I'm not actually a YouTuber, I'm not a streamer. I'm a bit of an academic. Right now I'm working on the CPA exam so that I can be an accountant. I just graduated with my undergrad degree, and in the fall I'll be coming back for a master's degree in mathematics, hoping to find a career where I can use my knowledge in accounting and my love for mathematics to help people in some way and eventually be a professor, I think.
My name's Nick, or clearly not Nick, as I go by online. So one of my big goals currently right now is to become normalized to the schedule to where I'm coming back and creating content, whether it's through content creation such as YouTube, or I'm going through streaming, which is another big goal I have currently. Is I'm slowly putting myself into a streaming platform. It's really weird. Currently, Brian, Jimmy, and a couple of the friends in the gang, they are continuously streaming and whatnot, and it's piqued my interest more and more as it's gone along. But I've always been sort of meh towards it. I've never thought of myself as a good live streamer, but the more they do it, the more it makes me want to do it. So 2 big goals I currently have are those. Along with that, I am now also the lead editor on Access, and I have a bunch of big goals to take this series and move along with it. And right now it's going to be trying to balance that along with Road to Optic, my personal series, and other uploads that I'm hoping to bring about to the channel. All in all, if right now it feels like there's a lot on my plate, I'm a little bit worried about it, but I'm going to take it step by step and work on it the best that I can.
Oh my god, Scump gets away. Scump gets away. He's able to run away this lane. Now 30 seconds for Decimate to try and cut. And Scump, they're able to win the gunfight.
For TWL Anaheim, I watched a majority of the event, and it played out pretty wild. I predicted a few of the things. You could see a few of the rosters were just going to be better than others through these changes or whatever. But all in all, I think Rise winning, not really a surprise. The Europeans playing as well as they did, that was probably the biggest shock of the tournament for me. I knew they were going to be good, both Red, Unilad. I knew they were going to be solid at this event, but I didn't expect them to play as well as they did. Beyond that, seeing Optic go out at top 8 doesn't really surprise me. If you're going to have a bump in the road with this new roster, because I don't think they've hit their max potential, but if you're going to have a bump in the road with a roster, do it before Champs, and I think this is the event that they needed. I think taking a hard loss like that to Unilad will really help them restructure and get back together. A little surprised that TK went out as early as they did. I think that roster has a lot of potential as well. Really like Enable and what he does on that team. And I hope to see them get back on track in time for Champs, because I think they are still one of probably the top 6 teams in my opinion. And it was pretty shocking to see them go out the way they did. Other than that, every other team kind of played somewhat to how I expected them. Maybe Tainted Minds, surprised some people. But, E United played well, had some hard, took some hard L's. You get 3-0'd by Optic, what can you do? 1, it's a super talented team. 2, it was payback. You've already got your 3-0 off on them. It's unfortunate that it happened to happen at this event, but what can you do? There's not much avoiding that.
So Anaheim was pretty different than previous events. We weren't really able to predict what was going to happen as closely as we would have liked to. Obviously, Optic getting knocked out pretty early against Unilad in Game 7, I think it was. It was pretty... I wouldn't have expected Unilad to beat them, and I also would not have expected Rise to win overall. I was pulling for Red personally, but overall, great match, and I'm excited for Champs.
Anaheim, oh gosh, it was a whirlwind. Maybe not as much as Seattle with the losers bracket being the way that it was, because all the top teams were in the losers bracket. I'm swaying and I need to stop. But yeah, it was a really not a weird event. You kind of saw everything that you expected to see. LG kind of surprised me with the way that they played, especially coming off of how they did during stage 2 when they just kind of did meh. They came out and really brought the juice and finished with that T3 finish. Optic, obviously a win for Optic is not losing. Let me restart that. Losing is not a thing that Optic likes to do, but after that top 16 at Seattle, I think they're going to be fine with 5th or top 6. So every game that they play, they're going to keep getting better. And overall, I mean, Rise and Red are the 2 best teams in the game right now, and there's no doubt about it. So really looking forward to getting into stage 2 a little bit more, and especially getting around to Champs time.
It was entertaining. I really liked seeing this new Optic roster play together. You could really tell that they had the chemistry there that Formal and Seth and Krim and Carmen weren't getting. So I think adding Octane and Methods was a good move for them. I like seeing Optic win, but overall I would rather watch good gameplay from anybody. Apparently was it Tainted Mind? We're playing out of their mind, like they 3-0'd Envy. You hate to see that. They 3-0'd and 3-1'd a bunch of people. So props to them. They must have been killing it. I think it's going to be interesting seeing a lot of these bigger names and how they go forward to the next event. Because some of them just kind of got slapped around. Envy got 3-0'd by Tainted Minds. Didn't Splice get 3-0'd by them as well? They just were not on top of it. I don't know if it's team chemistry or, sometimes you just have a bad day. And sometimes the other team is just on fire and you're not. And it happens, right? You can't expect a 100% win rate. But I'm glad to see Rise still doing well. When you guys got me into COD, I just kind of picked Rise and Splice as these are going to be the 2 teams that I like to follow. So I'm glad to see Rise doing well. But again, these top 12, top 8 teams, you just don't expect them to lose like that.
Anaheim, oh god, Anaheim. It's been a long time since I've actually watched a a MLG series like this and kept up with it. So watching how all the big name teams were coming in, some of them were getting knocked out really early, some of them were getting knocked out really early or just placed really poorly. It was really interesting. I missed the atmosphere because I used to be really into the competitive scene. I used to actually want to try to play competitive. It still comes up every now and then, but that watching this makes me want to play again. And you know, we all have our fan favorite teams. Obviously Optic is my favorite team, so watching them place as they did, you know, a little bit heartbreaking, but this is the very first event that they've come into with the new squad with Methods and Octane, and watching them perform as they did, it was very admirable. I was really impressed with some of the overall achievements that they came together, like 40 bombs being dropped and really good plays being played together. But they're still a very fresh and young team now that it's going to take a little bit to come together fully. I think they should be fine by champs, to be honest, but it's just one of those wait and see. Along with TK being placed like the 9 through 12 bracket, I was really expecting them to perform a lot better than they did. I think it was just one of those events that just, it doesn't come together really well. I mean, everybody has that. It's going to happen. I'm excited to see how this overall season's going to continue to play out until Black Ops 4 comes around. That one I'm really excited to see. The competitive scene should be really great. But Anaheim, pretty surprising overall. I wasn't expecting half the things that were to happen. So I'm definitely going to have to keep up with this coming up one.
At this point, we've already put countless hours into this video. I don't know exactly how much time. We've been recording over, I would say about 2.5, 3 weeks now. And it's been a process as far as work ethic and just a love for making content goes. I think everyone's right where they need to be. And I really appreciate that. It's something we haven't had in a while. So we're coming back as a group and even partially individually off of a pretty long break. Both Brian and I both took some time away from the content thing. Me specifically, I was running everything on the group channel, the Espionage project, but for a long time we just didn't have a whole lot developing as a group. Nick and Jimmy were doing things content-wise, and they were still making good content throughout the entire span, but I just kind of lost my place in where I wanted to be with my content, and so from then I tried to just focus on doing the things that I enjoyed. I think I was trying to force myself into too much of a bubble doing one thing, and once I realized I could expand upon that and I didn't have to just make one type of video, I think that's when I really found my my grounding again. I think that's what really inspired me to come back, and this week has been kind of the relaunch of my personal channel. I've made 2 videos this week. Some of them were the first one was using old footage though. It was just kind of like here's all the footage I've had since I've been gone. Check out kind of the goal with this channel. This is what I'm aiming for moving forward. And then I started a new series. It's a vlog based about photography. Just did the first episode, put it out this morning, edited all of last night, and I think it came out pretty well. There's some things that I still need to work on. Like I said earlier, I'm not content yet, but I'm getting to a level where I'm starting to get really happy with the things that I'm doing. And I think that works double for the group channel as well. I think as we move forward, we're all kind of finding our place as well. You know, I know I said that I took some time off to do that, but I think in that time, Jimmy's really found his lane. You know, he's got this point of approach series going. He's really grinding hard for that Sword Joker, and I mean, I can't fault him. He's doing an incredible job. He's interacting super well in the community. Nick doing the same thing with his Road to Optic. He's really putting a lot of thought and effort into these videos, and it shows. His last 4 to 5 videos, I think, are some of the best he's ever made, and he's been doing this for longer than all of us by a lot. So I think that says a lot about just his growth as a content creator and how serious like this has become. Like we've all kind of hit that point where it's go time. Brian finding his own with content again. He's kind of he's always been good. He just needed to find a schedule and a style that works for him, and I think that he's doing that now. He's still got a little bit more to work out. You know, he's just now coming back to it, really. He did some streaming for a while, and he was really good at it. I think, you know, if his internet could hold up and do that more often, I think that should be a goal for him moving forward. but even just his YouTube content, I think is it's really good. And I like this new approach he's going with. He's got a new series coming out similar to the Point of Approach, Road to Optic thing, and I think that's a good look for him. And Nick is doing a lot of the group channel work now, taking a little bit of the load off of my shoulders. You know, I'll still be around to help film, edit, whatever I need to do, any type of questions he has. You know, obviously this is still a group thing. We can all still kind of contribute, but for now he's taking over. You know, he's doing this video. So far it's off to a good start, and I can't wait to see what all kind of unfolds from here.
As far as why the main channel had this massive, like, just about a year-long break, we only uploaded like 4 or 5 videos. The true reason, I really do not know, because I was so caught up with my own content from my channel, and I was just kind of waiting for someone to be like, okay, hey, we're getting ready to shoot something, but everyone's schedules couldn't really line up, so we couldn't get a certain date for everyone to start recording the same video. So ultimately, we just kind of had to wait until there was more prime opportune times to actually make content for the channel.
Why have we been gone? It's a lot of different things personally, and personally for me, it was just I got way too busy with work and school, and I know everybody that watches my YouTube videos can look back into after like just like in a span of like videos, like 6 straight videos, we're just like, why have I been gone? What have I been doing? And it's just work and school have always been a pain throughout my college career, and that has never been different. It's gotten a little bit easier. I'm in my last semester, but as a group, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like when we weren't doing stuff as a group, I feel like we could have done some of our own videos, because I mean, Jimmy and Nick were both still doing it. It was more or less me or Alec that weren't really doing much uploading, but I feel like we could have still produced content for the channel. Although we didn't, I mean, that's just how it is, but I think you're going to see a good change in what we've got going on here, and I think there's going to be a lot to look forward to in the future.
So you were teased in the previous series, the last episode of the previous series. Now starting off on this new series, you were starting off episode 1. Do you have any plans in the future for YouTube, and what all would you like to bring forth towards Espionage, or bring forth towards the community in general? Because it doesn't have to be content creation. It can be anything that you would like it to be, to produce or to create or to be involved, whatever you would like.
Okay. So, as far as YouTube, I don't have any immediate plans, and part of that is just the CPA exam takes so much time. Grad school's going to take time. I'm going to be working full time, who knows where, and then I'm going to go back to school for my doctorate, and then being a professor. I mean, you know how bad professors are at grading things. It's not just because they don't like to; it's because they're swamped with stuff. Basically, as bad as students are. So, if I have time, I'd like to. And if I have time, what I'd like to do, look at competitive games, things like League, Smite, Overwatch, even COD. Probably focusing on MOBAs though, and do an in-depth statistical analysis of these characters, looking at, I prefer to play carry, so looking at, based on this carry's stats versus this carry's stats, in Smite, Artemis versus Hao Yi, or in League, Misfortune versus Ashe, based on their kit and their base statistics, and as they progress, from level 1 to level 20, or level 1 to level 18, what really is the best build for them? Get into some in-depth models of, alright, so if this is the best build for this character, if you're playing against that character, if they're building that way, how do you counter that? What team comp do you get? And then how do they build, and just start stacking these teams up together and see what kind of results can you get. There's a lack of that hard math, at least out in the front view of the scene. You don't see like, oh, we're not using this item anymore because they buffed this item and now the stat change is actually better. It's, oh, this feels better. And maybe that correlates to the stats are actually better. That would be good information to get out to these pro players. Like, hey, you may not, you may think this item's not actually useful, but it is. So that's really what I'd like to bring to it. As far as what I do now, I'm kind of just moral support. you know, these guys are doing great work. I watch their content and I say, hey, I really liked this. Or, you know, maybe this didn't work out as well as it could have. What were you thinking? Because I want them to get that uninformed opinion. Because not everybody who watches it is going to be an expert. Not everybody is going to know inherently what we're trying to do. And so if I just kind of look at it and say, that didn't really work, chances are other people are going to look at it and say, oh no, that didn't work. And if they hear that from me ahead of time, then maybe for the next video, they can fix it.
So at the end of my last, I think it was like April, May, a little bit of June as well, I went along on a hiatus, and that was because one, school really was kicking my butt at the very end, and I needed to focus on it. Came out with really good grades at the very end, but it did affect me uploading, because I don't think I uploaded for about a month and a half, and then I was also moving by that time, and moving, I don't know what happened. I told myself whenever I was going to move, it was going to be a really good, big game changer, because I was going to upload, I was going to do great, and then something happened to where I just lost everything. I lost in full, and I'm not sure why, to be honest with you. Thankfully I picked it back up. It took a couple of weeks, but I was able to get out of that rut and move along and keep up with everybody else as well. I'm really happy over that. I'm really happy with the overall progress everybody has been doing. And with the Espionage project, just like everybody else has said, we each individually had our own prior responsibilities. I love doing this content creation, but school and life have to come first. We don't make money off of YouTube. We do YouTube for fun. So these are the reasons that we take hiatuses for, because we have to acknowledge our responsibilities first and then work on everything else. This personally is a really big responsibility for me. I'm going to be running this channel along with 4 other people who want to produce content, who want to stream, who want to make something out of nothing. So it's very important to all of us, but we have to make sure to acknowledge the important responsibilities first. Along with that, I don't believe there should be too many problems in the future. The only thing I can think of that could cause like a problem in the future, like a hiatus or something going on, is important events that will come along, or traveling, or school. Those are the only things I believe that should really take the most upfront reasoning for over YouTube. Besides that, there is a lot of great potential going into here. We have taken all of our potential, and right now we're an arrow drawn back, and we're about to be released. It's about to be great. I cannot wait to see how the rest of this year is going to go. I've been constantly telling everybody, I remember all of us talking together, like 2018 is going to be our year, and right now the first half of it, it hasn't been bad. It's been standing up and walking, and right now we're getting ready to go into a full jog, and I'm pretty sure by the time August, September runs around, it's going to be a full sprint. That's what we needed. 2018 is the starting grounds to something great and new, and I'm ecstatic to see where this is going to go with everybody. There's nothing but fuel here with every single individual in this organization. This hiatus wasn't a bad thing to have, because now we're just coming back stronger than we ever were. The only thing I can say is something great is happening right now, and you all will not want to miss a second of it. Greatness is earned step by step along the way. We aren't taking steps, we're taking leaps and bounds.
Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that.
Well, it's not going to continuous.
Oh, no. I'm gonna make sure to cut bits and pieces, so. Alright.